Hello to you, our prospective student. My name is Joshua Davidson and welcome to this two-part video series where we're going to be talking about finances and all things finances, study fees. As you know, university is not cheap, so it's important that you also explore different options for funding, that you understand what to expect and that you also know where to go. I am luckily not alone today. I'm joined by expert, my first colleague over here. Please introduce yourself. Tell our prospective students who you are and what it is you do here at Stellenbosch University.
So my name is Candice and I'm currently acting as Head of Undergraduate Bursaries and Loans within the student finance space.
Okay, thank you for being here today. I look forward, and I'm sure our prospective students are also looking forward to your wealth of knowledge. So no pressure, no pressure.
No pressure.
So the first question would be what is the role of the Undergraduate Bursaries and Loans Office here at Stellenbosch University? What do you guys do and how do you offer support to our students?
The Centre for Undergraduate Bursaries and Loans forms part of student finance, and they form a really integral part of the student journey by offering additional funding that comes through us from donors or from companies or institutional or statutory funding that help ease the burden and the expenses of studying at university.
Thank you. So it's important to obviously understand the different types of funding categories there are. You said we love an acronym here at Stellenbosch University. So talk to us through what is the difference between a bursary, a loan, and what is NSFAS funding?
Okay, I'm going to start with NSFAS. So NSFAS is an abbreviation. It's the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. And this is a bursary program that is offered by government.
Okay.
They have very strict guidelines in terms of who qualifies, who can qualify, and how it works. Every university has access to NSFAS relationships, but students apply directly to NSFAS. So whether you come to Stellenbosch University or anywhere else, you apply for NSFAS and the NSFAS follows you to whichever institution you go to. I think the important thing to remember is that it is a lengthy but necessary application process. There's a lot of supporting documentation that is required and it's done purely online.
Okay.
So it's important to do your homework before you start the application process for NSFAS. There's also restrictions on the funding that they provide. So they fund tuition, they fund a portion of accommodation and a portion of living expenses, but it is a very necessary part of the student funding ecosystem. I think the important thing with the NSFAS space is that your household income needs to be under 350,000 Rand per annum.
Okay.
Then bursaries, similar to NSFAS, although not state funded. The Development and Alumni Relations Division at Stellenbosch University works very hard at raising funding from donors across the country, across the world, to help support our students' need. Okay. And each of those opportunities for funding come with their own set of criteria.
Of course.
And the Centre for Bursaries and Loans will look at the criteria, see who matches the criteria, and hopefully be able to allocate support to you. But the catch is, you have to apply for it. But my colleague will tell you more about it later.
Of course, of course.
And then from a loans perspective, the university doesn't provide loans at all. Okay. However, there are a lot of partners that work with the university that manage their loans with us. So there's Monati and Fundi as an example, that you apply to them directly from a loan perspective. And then obviously the banks like Capitec, Standard Bank, ABSA, and all the rest. And we manage the money that comes in from those loans, but we don't offer loans.
Okay. I think the most important thing is it's an obvious thing about a loan. What is the catch with a loan? Please,
you've got to pay it back.
Exactly.
That's the problem, right?
That is the problem.
So it is necessary because there's not enough funding available for everybody to get a bit of bursary or a bit of NSFAS. The need is really high, and although we do a really good job at working to find funding for our students, the need always outstrips the available resources.
Of course.
So again, the trick with a loan is that it's done through a financial institution and that you need to pay it back.
That's the most important thing. And I think the challenge with funding is not just a Stellenbosch problem.
No.
It's a South African higher education problem, tertiary education
It's a South African economics problem. So higher education, irrespective of where you go, is expensive. The cost of living is expensive.
Yeah.
So even if you want to buy a sandwich, you know, you've got to think, do I need the sandwich now? Does my budget allow for it?
Yeah.
And so it's super important to make sure you take every opportunity to apply for opportunities that show up via your student email or on notice boards, because every little bit helps.
Yes, and apply for as many as you can, please. There's more than one option, as you've heard now. And the most important thing is that you said this doesn't just get given away.
No.
You need to apply. So then my next question for you, Candace, is how do our prospective students apply for financial aid through your office? Where do they go? What do they do? What's the most important things they need to look for in that process?
Okay, so the starting point for our prospective students is to apply for SU funding opportunities. The link for this is available on our website.
Okay.
The shortcut is www.finaid.sun.ac.za, and it's an online application process that you have to follow through. So I think the important things that you've got to remember here is A, it's your responsibility to do the application. Don't assume you know what your folks' financial situation is. And because there's so much need in the space and limited resources, if you want an opportunity at the resources, you have to be on that list. And the only way to get on that list is to actually do an application, complete the application, and show up. And I know a lot of people will be panicking, oh my God, the deadline is almost here, I don't know what to do. And also life changes in the blink of an eye.
Of course.
You're fine now, and when you show up in February, it might be a different situation. We will then open applications again mid-February to the end of March for students. But again, the responsibility lies with students to read their emails. And follow the instructions and prompts that come through to have an opportunity to take a shot at what's going on.
And to be considered. I've been saying in all the videos that we've been doing is check your emails. Again, please check your emails. Check our website. Make sure that you understand what is required from you to be able to be considered. And that's the main thing. It's not a given that it will just happen. You need to apply in order to be considered. So just let's do some bullet points. What are the most important things to have in place when you are applying for financial aid? If I'm the prospective student, what do I have to ask my parents for? What information, what documents do I need? Give us some tips on that process.
So Bianca will take you through the whole process and everything that you need. But when you click on the site, it gives you, there's a document that says these are all the things you need to have ready before you start your application. So it's ID documents and living arrangements, and you know, a lot of folks maybe don't know what their parents do for a living, and they would need to put that in there. So that's super important. But again, like you're saying about the emails, there's a lot of information, and there's there's an information overload because you're starting, and it's coming from all directions. Your department, your faculty, your res, the university generally, everybody's sending you messages, but you have to check your emails. The prompts are there, the directions are there, they are very clear. You just need to follow them.
Okay, perfect. That's very good advice. It's good advice to just say, take some time to read through all these emails that you are getting. It's not spam, so please make sure that you understand that it's information tailored specifically to you as a prospective student, from your department, from your faculty, from your office, to say these are the opportunities available. So Candace, thank you so much for being here today, for sharing some of your insights and that vast knowledge that you have. And to our prospective students, there you have it. Please watch this video as many times as you need to, and check also the websites that you have mentioned, Candace. And now we'll move over to part 2 of this video. Thank you, Candace.
Thank you.
And we're back with part 2. We're continuing the talk about finances, bursaries, loans, and I'm joined by another one of my colleagues. Colleagues, please introduce yourself to our audience. Tell them who you are and what it is that you do here at Stellenbosch University.
Oh, thank you, Joshua. I am Bianca Andrews, and I'm a manager within the Centre for Undergraduate Bursaries and Loans. And I basically oversee the internal institutional funds as well as the external funds. But I do have knowledge. I've been working in the centre about 14 years, so I do have quite a bit of knowledge regarding our financial aid processes.
I'd say 14 years is quite a bit, more than quite a bit. So thank you for being here today. In the previous part, in part 1, Candace did mention a bit of an overview of what you guys do, what is offered, and how hard the institution works to make sure that that gap is basically breached for our students who do require financial aid. But I want to zoom into the process a bit, because she also did mention, roughly about what documents are needed, but I want us to just make sure that our prospective students understand this is what you need, this is where you go, this is when you apply, and things like that. So my first question for you would be, what are some of the common mistakes that you see on applications, and how do our prospective students avoid making these mistakes?
Okay, so one of the biggest things is preparation is key when you do an application. So on our website, on www.finaid.sun.ac.za, you'll find an application process tab right at the top. Okay. So when you click on there, it will give you all the steps necessary. It will give you the supporting documents that you need to prepare, and that is the basics of your ID document as a student, and then your financial information for the household. It is important that everything is provided, that everything is clear. We do not want a photo of an ID on someone's lap, or you know what I mean.
Yes,
those type of things that you can't really see what's happening. But we also have a consent form that needs to be signed and uploaded before anything else. And I think that is also a common something that they miss, a common mistake. So the consent, when you sign that consent, it basically gives us permission to share your details with any external funder. So, and that will obviously open the doors for bursaries and so forth. If you do not sign that consent, then we're not allowed to share your information with anyone, and therefore we can't provide any financial assistance to you or opportunities to you. So I think what is important is that preparation, make sure all the documents, you have everything in PDF uploaded, and then also make sure that you complete the whole process. And if you get stuck, please do not wait until the 31st of or the 30th of November to inquire. As soon as you hit a roadblock or you see that you are struggling, please contact our office, and then we can assist and try and help you move forward into the process, because we do not want someone to have an incomplete application, because an incomplete application means it can't be considered. So
and then you lose the opportunity to even possibly get funding.
Yes.
Candace also mentioned in part one that if you don't apply, you can't be considered.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with the consent form. If you don't sign it, then how can you expect a bursary from somewhere else?
Absolutely, 100%. So that is very important, and it's a very quick process. It shouldn't take you longer than 10 minutes maximum, and you will get an acknowledgement of receipt as soon as the application has been submitted.
So we've taken some time to talk through some terminology, we've gone through some acronyms, abbreviations, and now I just want to talk about misconceptions. There is sometimes a misconception that if I get financial aid, it just covers everything. So is that the case? How do we make sure that our prospective students, their parents, their guardians know what it is that they're actually getting? And then what are the other options and other opportunities for funding? Where can they look outside of the space of Stellenbosch University?
Okay, so what's important to know is that an application is an application. It is not a guarantee for partial or full cost funding. So it is important to have many options. You can't just focus on one application and assume that you'll be successful. So what we do try and promote within our center is that our application process is obviously the most important for us, but there are other options as well. Candace has mentioned about the loans, that our partners with the loans, but there's also a crowdfunding platform called Phoenix that you can Google, as well as Bursary South Africa. Bursaries in general vary in terms of value. So unless you know that the bursary states it covers 180,000 or its full cost, what is that? It could be anything from 5,000 to 150, 180,000. Make sure that you know what you're applying for and what the value is, but also make sure that you have options, because anything can happen in the funding space, and it's always good to know that there's another option to consider. And then you can weigh up your options and choose the best that suits your situation for that year, and it is also important to apply every year. That's another important fact.
So there's a lot of work to do from the prospective student side who's going to be a student.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of responsibility as well. It's not just a once-off thing and it's done and signed for 4 or 3 years.
No.
So just talking through that process, because you spoke about the bursaries and different sources of funding being allocated for different amounts.
Yes.
How can a prospective student or their parent reach out to you to say, here's this offer on the table, comparing it to what the student fees are going to be, will it work for me? How do they get in contact with you guys?
Oh, we would love to meet all our prospective students. We have different platforms that you can reach us.
Okay.
If you want to see us in person, at the moment we are in the Inorganic Chemistry building in Bosman Street in Stellenbosch.
Okay.
And then for the students at the Medicine or Health Sciences campus, they're at the Clinical building on that site in Tygerberg.
Okay.
And then there's also, we've got our service desk, and our link is there in terms of an email inquiry. So our link is on our website. And then students are also, or parents are welcome to call us on our general line. It's the 021-808-9111 number. But in person, we do have very qualified consultants that will be able to assist with any advice or to just talk it through with the student, because I think that's most important, that you just have an ear. Students just want someone to listen.
A person.
Any person just wants someone to listen and to guide. So we do have our client services right there to assist.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And just to conclude, let's talk about dates again, just so that we round off the video nicely. Talk us through timelines, dates, cutoffs, all those things.
Okay, so for our prospective students, we opened the 1st of October and we are closing the 30th of November.
Okay.
And then we will have another round in the new year. We'll probably start mid-February and then till the end of March, but we will communicate to all students.
Okay.
So this will be communicated via email again to the email addresses that were provided. And that's basically it. And from there, we'll send constant communication regarding whether you've been awarded or allocated or whether you've been unsuccessful for a specific bursary.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Bianca. And to our
Thank you.
prospective students, please make sure that you apply for as many different funding opportunities as possible. And the most important thing to remember is, as you've mentioned, Bianca, an application is not a guarantee. So you might as well apply for as many as you can.
Absolutely.
And check our website for more information. Contact us, give us a ring. As you've heard, this client service consultant specifically tailored for finance queries. Please speak to us, ask us as many questions. We want to help you, and that is why you are here as well. So to your prospective student, we hope this information has helped, and we hope to see you soon at Stellenbosch University. Till next time, thank you very much. Goodbye.